Hey guys, welcome back to the Mental Toughness Blog with Chris Doris. And coaches, this one's for you today. And specifically, what I wanted to do is talk briefly about one of the cool uniquenesses of being a coach and being in practice for yourself and building your own practice. And more specifically, today's topic is about client prospect readiness. And I really believe that there's an art to becoming familiar with how to discern the readiness level of your client prospect to leap in, to start, to pay the fee and to get going. And there are some really important variables that we need to be conscious of as coaches, and you can replace the word coaches with servants, because really that's what we are. We're serving people, right? When we coach people, we're serving them, and that's the only reason we exist when we're with them, is to serve them. It's not to get anything out of them. It's to serve them. It's to help them get what they want, right? And we can really screw that up when our ego gets involved. Like when we prioritize whether we're doing it on purpose or not, and we almost always aren't doing this on purpose, but we're prioritizing getting them as a client. Or we're prioritizing getting them what they want, but on our timing. Right? So that's really the point here, is really trusting the timing of the readiness of our clients. And I'd like to use a couple analogies for that. And one is ripeness. Right? It's like, the readiness of our client prospect is just like the ripeness of a fruit or a vegetable. We can't force that. You cannot force a vegetable to grow faster. One thing you can do is you can over-nourish it, right? But you can super saturate it, and then you would kill it. And that's actually a pretty good analogy for what a lot of coaches do with prospects, is they push and push and push and push, and it becomes like repulsive and needy and creepy, right? So what I really love practicing is doing the absolute opposite, like the absolute opposite of that, which is to nurture just enough and to be literally blissfully detached from the outcome, like blissfully detached from whether or not they enroll as a client now or ever. And that's not insensitive. It's actually, to be honest with you, I really believe that that's one of the most powerful ways we can love these people who are client prospects, who may become paying clients or may never. It's a really effective way of loving them, because what you're doing is you are being cool with them being precisely where they are. Right? Everybody is exactly where they are at this moment, where they should be in this moment. Right? Now here's where it gets interesting, and this is fun. This is one of the coolest nuances of being a coach. We can know, right, better than our client prospects what they need in order, to get what they say they want. Right? In fact, we better, in many cases, know better than them. Like, we know why they're waiting. We know why they aren't going for things. We know why they're afraid. We know why they're holding back. We know what the patterns are, right, with people, and why they're not living their lives on their terms. But what we can, I'm going to try that one again in English, okay? It's a very challenging sentence. What we can't know, that was a lot easier. What we can't know is whether now's the right time. We can't know that going in, but we can figure it out through, visiting with them and spending some time doing some coaching with them. Just what I call enrollment conversations, right? Which is where you waive the fee and you get with them and you see, you actually do a real coaching session. They're not paying anything, so it doesn't cost them anything. They're not making any commitment other than the time that they're spending with you, and you can discern on what their readiness level is, and one of the most effective ways is simply to ask. Say, is this something you're ready to do? Like, my fee is this, it's X number of dollars, we're going to do it for this much time, and this is the number of hours or so that we'll spend together. That's what it looks like. Is this something you're ready to do? And if the answer is anything other than hell yeah, then now you got to, this is where the art form comes in. Because a lot of times the obstacle, right, or the only resistance point, right? The only objection often is money, is affordability, or their beliefs about affordability. So I charge a really strong fee for coaching, and so it's really common that client prospects will respond when I say, the ones that I want to coach, when I invite them in, if I invite them, I say, so, hey, you're right, I think that we could do some really amazing work. You ready to rock? Here's the deal. Here's the design. You want to do it? A lot of times I get, yeah, I'd love to do that, but I don't have that kind of money right now. And I'm like, that's cool, right on. Now, this is where I want to really pay attention. I will have already paid attention throughout the coaching session to how cool they are having their thoughts and beliefs challenged. If they're really digging that, like if they love that, they see the value in that, and they invite that, then I may respond to that person. I may say, so are you telling me that money's like the only thing that's holding you back from getting all in on this right now? And if they go, oh yeah, I'll say, all right, then are you cool with me coaching you on the limiting belief behind that? Which is, I can't afford it, which is never true, right? It always means I don't believe. It means one of two things. It doesn't mean I can't afford it. That's bullshit always. I can't afford it always means one of two other things. It's either this really isn't as important as I'm pretending or telling you it is to me. But in most cases, they're not lying to us. In most cases, what it means is I don't believe that I'm resourceful enough to go create that resource, to go create that entrance fee, to go create that cash, that money to pay you to get in, to get this started. They just believe. They're really convinced because of all the conditioning of the past that I can't just go create money, right? So now, however, the other side of that coin is that if the person isn't, if they're not even knowing really necessarily what coaching's like, they don't have a whole lot high level of sophistication around like the nuances of that, or what coaching is, like people, coaches pushing people past their perceived limits, and they may not be asking for that. They may not want that, So if I'm sensing that, I will just surrender completely. I will absolutely, infinitely surrender, and say, cool. That's if I say, are you ready for this? And they say anything other than, oh hell yeah, then I want to respond by saying, yeah, listen, it would actually be foolish for us to start now. If it's anything other than the obviously perfect time, right? It would be unethical even of me to do that. I would still coach you in the way I coach everyone, which is with all of my heart. But if it's not the right time, again, going back to the ripeness analogy, it's like you can't make a good salad. You can put all these great kinds of colorful lettuce and all these other. You use great dishware and all that, but you put in unripe cucumbers and tomatoes, and it ain't gonna work. So it's the same thing. And another analogy that I like to use with this is this deal right here, this game, Jenga. This is such a great game. I use this game as a metaphor in so many different ways in my, my coaching and in my speaking and obviously in my blogs, because it's a game about not forcing shit, right? This is a game about trusting the path of least resistance, like knowing which of these pegs, which of these bricks are. Oh, there's one. Well, that's kind of good timing. Which of these is ready to move? And this was a loose one. This was unstuck, and it was ready to move, right? And then there are ones that are that one. There's no movement. That is not moving. So, say that's my client prospect. And I know that this person's life would be so wonderful because they say they want to be here, but here they are. And I totally know how to help get them here, right? I know what it's going to take. They don't, right? But I do because I'm the trained professional here. But they're not ready. Oh, man. I was going to try to knock the whole thing down. Maybe they're readier than I thought. Oh, look, maybe they are. Okay, never mind. Actually, that's a perfect, unexpected outcome. That is actually outstanding, because one of the points that I wanted to make here is the perfect balance between nudging and forcing. Like I do want to nudge. I want to nudge a little bit to test. I want to test to see. And this is nudging. Like that's a nudge. I want to nudge. I don't want to be apologetic about nudging because maybe like that one actually did move. I didn't think it was going to move. I thought it was totally stuck. And guess what? I was wrong. It was readier than I thought. So that's the other. Possibility is I want to see. Now that one's totally ready. This is a client that's ready to rock and roll. All right, but. Obviously, that one's not. That's the one. I don't even know if you can see it, but obviously you can't move that. The laws of physics are going to govern that. But so I, as the coach, I want to test. I want to ask some questions and just be really sensitive. Like be really, really consistently sensitive to the distinct possibility that they're not ready to go. And I do not want to ever get into forcing. That's a disservice. Now, here's the last point that I want to make on this, which is this gets really convoluted when the coach is in a financial situation where they really need money. Because then they are needy, right? And the coach is needy. When a coach is in a situation, and trust me, I know this situation. I spent most of my life in this situation where I needed money. For a very, very long time, my comfort zone was having my bank account like right around zero. Totally comfortable living month to month, having really no reserves. And like always being in a state of, I really need to create some cash. I am way familiar with that state. And so I can speak from a place of experience there and how hard it was for me to shift out of my neediness, to really serve my client prospects by forgetting about what I need in my world and getting out of my world and into their world and trusting and saying to them, now's not the right time for this. There could be a time, and we'll know that later, but now is not the right time. The opposite of like a cheesy, pushy, greasy, creepy, needy used car salesman, right? That's like the popular analogy. So I want to be the opposite of that. I want to say now's not the time. Coaching is such an intimate and important service that it has to be governed by trust, surrender, love, and needlessness service, right? So if you are, in fact, a coach who is struggling a bit financially right now, then the greatest challenge, if you don't have any other source of income other than coaching income, then here's the solution to that, is get a shitload of people into enrollment conversations and figure out which ones are ready. It's like spend hours and hours and hours and hours every week getting people into coaching sessions with you to find out if they're ready. And then, by testing them out. That one's not ready. That could very potentially be ready, not ready. Totally ready, right? Because, when we push the ones that aren't ready, then what happens? I'm trying to knock this thing down and I can't even. It's totally it's ruining my metaphor. This is fascinating. Anyway, you get the point. All right, guys, until next time, create miracles. Peace.